And this is what I do. This is what I've learned to do over time. It's what you do about 90 to 95% of the time. And I don't know, maybe you've noticed this too with your clients. Have you noticed this? It's when you get to the 95% ratio. It's what you eat, but it's your health habits. When you do them consistently, that's when you're going to notice the change. Because you can do something occasionally, and it might feel good. And here's the thing too: is you want to do something because it feels good. Don't do it for an external motivation because someone else wants you to, or you're trying to get ready for a wedding. It's nice to have those motivations, but ultimately I encourage you to do what makes you healthy, which is personalized. It's going to be different for everybody because it makes you feel good. But I've learned that being consistent makes a big difference, but you're also looking for making small changes. Don't overwhelm yourself. It's really the small changes that make the biggest difference that I've noticed. So you want to make those small changes and do them consistently. And this is what's going to help you move toward well-being. Now, again, we're not talking necessarily about, it might improve your health too, which is great, but I'm really interested in what makes you well, what makes you thrive. So again, what work helps me here is self-care. So again, I build in a lot of it, and I make it a priority, and I don't feel like I need to explain myself to other people. So, makes a big difference. I practice a lot of mindfulness. I do a lot of yoga. I find that really helps me. So I do yoga almost every day in some form or another. And I find my body looks forward to it. And it keeps me well. So I figured out what works for me. I encourage you to make small changes, to practice it consistently, but also, if you're feeling like, okay, well, all right, fine, I've heard this before, because we all know what to do, right? Like we've heard it a million times. You have to eat well, you have to exercise. These really are the things that can really help be a buffer against certain conditions. They really can help. But we've heard it a million times, and the problem is, again, we get stuck. So I encourage you to remember, again, it's not a linear line, but remember your power of choice. Remember that you have the power to make a change, and raise your standards for yourself. And give yourself the opportunity to maybe look at life a little differently. Like, what's really important to you? Like, what's really important to me is, I feel really good when I work on inspiration. That's kind of my fuel, and vitality. Those are my fuels. So that's what's important to me. So then I make choices based on those values. So I encourage you to look at your values, like what's really important to you, whether it's your family or being around for your family, whatever's valuable to you. And then make choices based on those, but then also be compassionate with yourself along the way. If you maybe fall off the wagon, which I've done a million times, I used to be addicted to chocolate. So that was my answer to low energy for a really long time. And of course I tried many other things, and these days I use things more like Korean ginseng and yoga, lots of self-care, downtime, I go to bed early, have good boundaries, really important. So I have a whole different way of managing it now. But my first solution, back in I never used to use caffeine at all, but my second time through, I was just like, forget it, I'm using chocolate. That wasn't a good solution. It wasn't a good solution. So, but I had to be compassionate with myself, and it took me a long time to get out of that habit. So I've been there. I've made choices that I knew weren't good for me, but I felt like it was the only thing I could do. So be compassionate with yourself. This is how you get to consistency. It's just, it's a cyclical process. Change is a cyclical process. Be compassionate with yourself. You're going like this. You're changing like this. It's not a straight line. And also, I encourage you to, so you're also creating new neural pathways when you're changing. So any habit that you have is also ingrained in your brain. It's like a neural pathway. It's what you're used to. So be compassionate with yourself while you're changing. And I also like to think of it, here's another plain metaphor for you. So I like to think of it, when you're changing a health habit, you're taking off, imagine you're in the airplane and it feels like, you might die, going up in there. It's just so intense going up. It's hard. It can be hard to change health habits, but remember, keep it small so that you don't get overwhelmed. But once you reach cruising altitude, it's pretty easy, right? Doesn't it feel like the plane evens out and it's like, then you can relax and then just let the pilots do what they're going to do, right? But then you can relax because you're not trying to get up to speed. You're up to speed. you have new health habits. So it takes at least 30 days, but I think it takes more, like 6 months to 9 months. So be patient with yourself, be compassionate with yourself, and then also again seek community, and then just be compassionate with yourself while you're practicing consistency. So I'm going to end with, I was talking about the image of the metaphor. I'm going to read a little something to you, and then I might read from my book a little bit if you want me to. So I want to read this quote. So I was talking about earlier how we have secret fears and secret stories, and we all have stress and things that are kind of, that we feel maybe are things that we don't want to own. We kind of want to step away from them. But I encourage you to own it. I encourage you to own all of it, because I believe that your pain is your potential. So when we're talking about stress, I was talking earlier about how the lotus grows in the mud. That is its foundation. And so I encourage you to think of the mud as your pain and stress, and it's just experience. Anything that you've been through, whatever great challenge, has actually made you who you are. Stress is what makes us grow. You can think of the weed coming up through the concrete. It finds a way to come up. It's very resilient, and so are you. I encourage you also to remember that your body is very, very resilient. No matter what you've been through, and so is your heart, and so is your spirit. We're super, super resilient. Remember that, and focus on that. So may we transform our fear and secret shame and suffering into wisdom, and I would say even joy. I believe that there's kind of like a subtle joy and bliss. The more present you get, the more you can start to feel it. So your pain and experience is your potential. It gives you roots in the mud, just like the lotus. Allow yourself to rise up out of the mud like the lotus and reach for the sun. And also, I encourage you to use the power of choice and the medicine of community. And also, actually, the power of choice and the light of compassion, the medicine of community, to help you achieve the transformation of consistency. Because it's really, that's what happens, is you start to transform when you're consistent. So, and I'm just going to read a little. Does anybody want to hear? I'll just read a little bit from here. I have a lot of choices, but I think I'm going to read about chronic illness and lifestyle. So I'm just going to read a little bit, and this kind of has to do with your own body's voice. So know the rhythms of your own body, know what energizes you and what short circuits your vitality. Be honest but kind with yourself, and have the courage to make change. Subtle changes add up. So I really want to encourage you to be courageous about making change, and also don't give up on your hope. And I'll talk a little bit more about that after this. So take small, actionable steps toward revamping your diet and lifestyle until you notice a difference in your well-being. Because it's really about you. What's going to work for you. It's a good thing. It's a good thing that it's up to you. This is mindful living. This is well-being to me. Have faith and courage in yourself and your body's ability to achieve a dynamic homeostasis, a living balance of sustainable well-being, where you can feel all systems living in harmony. You feel awake, you start to feel subtle, ecstatic joy even. You feel the healing energy of sunshine, feel the pull of the moon, and stand in awe of the stars where you can see them. You feel hopeful, peaceful, grateful, and most importantly, dynamically and vitally alive. This is, to me, is the real gift of choosing well-being, is you feel the most alive, and you feel the most. It makes me feel like excited about life when I choose to be well. If I could send a love letter to you and your body about the importance of lifestyle, this would be it. What you do every day, what you think, what you eat, how you move, how you interact with your environment, both with yourself and socially, all make up how you feel, and how you experience your precious, irreplaceable life. So I encourage you to get in touch with the feeling of being alive. To me, that's well-being. I just want to leave you with one more thing. So my father had esophageal cancer and he actually passed away in 2008, August 31st, 2008. My father was working on a book. He'd been working on one for 13 years, and he worked on it up until the day he died. That's how dedicated he was. He was giving my mom notes when he was in intensive about his book. Pretty incredible. And when we knew he was going to pass away, it was kind of like the last couple of weeks. We all went down to Florida to see him. And kind of one of the last conversations I had with my father, he brought me in to see him, and I was a little nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen. But he just wanted to give me words of encouragement. And he said to me, don't ever give up. He said, too many people lose the light from their eyes. And I was really struck by that. And so I just encourage you to choose hope. And I really think it's important to, no matter what you've been through, to choose hope, stay connected to it, find it any way you can, and then live with intention, live consciously, and then show up for yourself, whatever that looks like for you. But I encourage you to choose hope. So I want to thank you so much for being here and listening. And we have a little bit of time if you guys want to talk, or do you have something to say?
Oh, I just want to close. Thank you so much.